Samurai discipline. 3 rules for success. 1. Rule 1. Unwavering focus. Cut away what doesn't matter. In the samurai tradition, discipline begins not with adding layers of one's life, but with stripping them away. Modern society teaches us that success comes from accumulation. More tools, more opportunities, more responsibilities, more noise. But the samurai knew the opposite to be true. Clarity comes from reduction. Strength comes from simplicity. Freedom comes from deciding what does not belong in your life. Their term for this mental state was fudoshin, the immovable mind. It describes a type of internal stillness that remains untouched even when the world becomes chaotic. To a samurai, chaos is not something to fight. It is something to observe without becoming attached. The warrior spirit becomes a mountain. Storms may strike, winds may howl, but the mountain remains. Today, achieving such clarity feels almost impossible. Our days are crowded with distractions, endless notifications, shallow conversations, anxious thoughts, and pressure to match the pace of a world that never sleeps. People feel overwhelmed not because their lives are too full, but because they are full of the wrong things. We mistake motion for progress, noise for meaning, and urgency for importance. The samurai would see this as spiritual clutter, a barrier between us and our purpose. To them, focus was not an ability, it was a responsibility. A samurai cut away anything that weakened his will, diluted his attention, or clouded his judgment. This wasn't just a mental exercise. It was a lifestyle. It was a commitment to self-honesty. It was the courage to admit that you cannot hold everything, and you should not try. A blade cannot be sharp if it is pulled in every direction. The modern mind has become like a room filled with too many objects. You cannot move freely. You cannot think clearly, and every step risks knocking something over. The samurai approach would be to open the windows, remove the unnecessary, and leave only what serves your growth. This is not minimalism for aesthetics. It is minimalism for survival. Imagine this. You are standing in a quiet forest at dawn, surrounded by mist. In your hand is katana. In front of you hangs a thick rope tied to a wooden frame. You take a breath, raise the blade, and strike. The rope splits cleanly, not because the sword is strong, but because your mind is free of hesitation. In that moment, there is nothing else. No noise, no fear, no doubt, just clarity. That single cut represents a samurai philosophy. When your mind is singular, your actions become powerful. Most people never achieve this kind of mental sharpness because they are constantly fragmenting themselves. They try to chase too many goals, please too many people, juggle too many priorities. They become exhausted, not because they are weak, but because they are divided. A scattered mind cannot lead a focused life. The samurai believe that every distraction you eliminate sharpens your edge. Every unnecessary obligation you release strengthens your spirit. Every fear you confront, rather than avoid, clears another layer of fog from your path. Focus is not about forcing yourself to concentrate. It is about creating a life where concentration becomes natural. This requires a deep and sometimes uncomfortable question. What are you holding on to that is holding you back? Maybe it's a habit that drains your energy. Maybe it's a relationship built on guilt rather than growth. Maybe it's a fear you keep feeding. Maybe it's a dream that no longer belongs to you. Samurai discipline teaches that you must act like a sculptor, removing stone until the true shape emerges. Greatness is not created by addition. It is uncovered by subtraction. The essence of this rule can be summarized like this. Cutting away what doesn't matter is the most powerful form of discipline. Focus is not something you find. It's something you create. It's built moment by moment, decision by decision, sacrifice by sacrifice. When you choose what truly matters and let go of everything else, you shift from being pulled by life to directing it. You stop living reactively and start living intentionally. You stop scattering your energy and start channeling it. Your days become quieter, but your actions become louder. This is why samurai wisdom still resonates deeply today, especially in a culture where people feel more lost, distracted, and mentally fragmented than ever. Americans value ambition and achievement, but ambition without clarity becomes stress, and achievement without focus becomes emptiness. The samurai remind us that discipline is not just about pushing hard. It is about removing friction. clearing the mind and sharpening our purpose. In the end, the path of samurai is not a path of speed, but of precision. Not a path of accumulation, but of surrender. Not a path of having everything, but of choosing the few things worth giving your life to. And in a noisy world, that might be the most valuable skill of all. 2. Rule 2. The discipline of daily practice. Small actions, great power. In the world of the samurai, mastery was never measured by dramatic victories or moments of sudden brilliance. It was shaped in silence, in the discipline of returning to the same practice day after day, long before anyone noticed, long before any reward appeared. Samurai believed that greatness comes not from extraordinary effort, but from ordinary effort done with extraordinary consistency. We live in a time that worships intensity. People want fast results, rapid transformation, instant skill. They chase motivation like a spark that they hope will blaze into a fire. But motivation is fickle. It appears and disappears depending on mood, comfort, and circumstance. Samurai discipline rejects this weakness. They train their minds to value repetition over inspiration, commitment over excitement. To a samurai, daily practice, Keiko, was not simply training the body. It was training the spirit to remain steady no matter the storm. Each repetition, each small action, was a reminder that discipline is the only force strong enough to carry you across a lifetime. The world will always distract you. Your emotions will always fluctuate. But discipline gives you a structure higher than your impulses and more enduring than your moods. This philosophy is especially relevant today. Many people feel stuck not because they lack dreams, but because they lack habits built to support those dreams. Goals fail not in dramatic explosions, but in quiet neglect. We abandon them one skip day at a time. Meanwhile, the world rewards consistency, strength, skill, confidence, financial stability, emotional balance. All grow slowly, invisibly, and then all at once. Samurai understood the power of small actions executed consistently. They believed that the body becomes what it repeatedly does, and the mind becomes what it repeatedly thinks. Identity itself is carved out of routine. You do not rise to the level of your ambition. You fall to the level of your training. That was the samurai way. Imagine this. It's late evening in an empty dojo. A single lantern flickers against the wooden floor. A young samurai trainee stands alone, practicing the same sword strike he has repeated thousands of times. Sweat runs down his arms. His breathing is steady. Outside, the world is alive with noise, laughter, music, distractions. But here, there's only the sound of his blade cutting through the air. No audience, no applause, no recognition. Just discipline. Years later, when he finally steps into battle, the strike that saved his life is not a product of inspiration, but the thousands of repetitions done in silence. This is the essence of Rule 2. The daily practice you do when nobody is watching becomes a power that everyone sees. In modern life, this principle applies everywhere. You want a stronger body? It's built through small workouts repeated over months. You want a calm mind? It's trained through daily moments of stillness. You want to master a skill? It grows through consistent, deliberate practice. Not talent, not luck. You want meaningful relationships? They're nurtured through steady connection, not occasional intensity. Everything great is built slowly. The samurai knew this deeply. They were not driven by external validation, nor by the desire to show off. Their motivation came from internal alignment, an understanding that repetition creates clarity, clarity creates confidence, and confidence creates mastery. Every day spent training was a day strengthening the foundation of their future. This is a mindset many Americans crave today. In a culture shaped by instant gratification, rapid updates, and short attention spans, people feel ungrounded. They jump from idea to idea, hobby to hobby, goal to goal. They hope for transformation, but avoid the boring, repetitive work that makes transformation possible. The samurai remind us that discipline is not exciting, but it is powerful. Daily practice also builds resilience. When you repeat a behavior long enough, it becomes a part of your identity. You no longer say, "I'm trying to get stronger," or "I'm trying to become disciplined." You simply act like the person you want to become, because the habits have shaped you into that person. This is a hidden power behind consistency. It turns effort into instinct. Samurai also knew that discipline protects you from emotional turbulence. When life becomes difficult, and it always does, your habits stabilize you. You still train. You still show up. You still move forward. This continuity is what keeps you from falling apart during chaos. Routine becomes your anchor. Another profound element of samurai practice is humility. Daily repetition is not glamorous. It requires acceptance that improvement is slow. It forces you to confront your weaknesses. It builds patience, a trait many people desperately lack. Samurai trusted the process even when they could not see progress. They believed that the accumulation of small actions eventually creates a breakthrough. This principle applies directly to anyone striving for success today. Your dreams don't require you to be extraordinary. They require you to be consistent. The difference between those who succeed and those who don't often comes down to one thing: who stayed when it became boring, who showed up when no one cared, who practiced when no one believed in them. The samurai knew that, and they lived it. In the end, Rule 2 could be expressed simply: your daily actions shape your destiny more than your intentions ever will. Practice is not something you do. It is something you become. Every day you train, focus, write, study, build, or fight through resistance. You reinforce the identity of a disciplined, unstoppable version of yourself. And when the world finally sees your success, they will call it talent. But you will know the truth. It was discipline, built quietly, patiently, relentlessly, one small action at a time. 3. Rule 3. Courage through acceptance. Face life without fear. In samurai philosophy, courage is not a sudden burst of adrenaline or a dramatic act in the face of danger. It is something quieter, deeper, and more enduring. True courage, they believed, is born from acceptance. The understanding that life is unpredictable, loss is inevitable, and uncertainty is the natural landscape of existence. The samurai walked through life with profound awareness of their fragility, and yet they moved forward with steady, unshakable conviction. Their courage was not built on illusion of control. It was built on the understanding that control is limited. They did not pretend the world was safe. They did not avoid the truth that death, failure, pain, and change were always close. Instead, they accepted those realities fully. Courage, for them, was not about overpowering fear. It was about becoming immune to its influence. When you stop resisting uncertainty, fear loses its grip. Modern life is very different from feudal Japan, yet this principle has never been more relevant. Americans today face a different kind of battlefield: anxiety, pressure, insecurity, expectations, economic uncertainty, identity confusion, and the constant fear of not being enough. These invisible enemies attack the mind, not the body. But the samurai would say the same rule applies. The only way to conquer fear is to stop pretending you can escape uncertainty. You must accept that unpredictability is part of the journey, not a sign that you are failing. The samurai had a word for this mindset: mushin, the empty mind. It is not emptiness in the sense of nothingness. It is emptiness from attachment, from emotional chaos, from a need to cling to safety. Mushin allows a warrior to face danger with total presence, not because they are fearless, but because fear cannot distort their perception. They accept the moment exactly as it is, and so they act with clarity. This is the opposite of what most people do. When life becomes uncertain, we panic. We overthink. We push harder, trying to force reality into the shape we want. We cling to old identities, relationships, and expectations. But fear grows stronger the more you resist it. The samurai learned to dance with uncertainty, not fight against it. Imagine this. You're standing on a cliff overlooking a vast valley at dusk. The wind is sharp. The world below is fading into shadows. You know you must climb down the rocky path, narrow, unpredictable, and dangerous. Fear whispers that you might slip. Doubt tells you to turn back. But then you breathe, quiet and deep. You accept the risk. You accept the unknown. You place your foot on the path, not recklessly, but steadily. With each step, your courage grows not because the path becomes safer, but because your mind becomes still. This is samurai courage. Calm movement in uncertain terrain. Acceptance is not surrender. It is strength. When you accept that life will challenge you, you stop wasting energy resisting the inevitable. Your mind becomes sharper. You begin to behave with intention rather than panic. You develop what the samurai valued most, inner stability. This stability transforms how you handle adversity. When relationships change, you remain steady. When plans fail, you adapt. When the future becomes unclear, you still move forward. Challenges no longer knock you off your center. They simply become part of your path. Samurai courage teaches that the goal is not to eliminate fear, but to understand it. Fear is just a signal that something matters. It is not an enemy, but a teacher. It points you toward growth. Without fear, you would never discover your strength. The modern world often portrays courage as a grand victory over impossible odds. But samurai courage is something else. It is the ability to remain whole, to remain yourself when uncertainty tries to fracture your spirit. It is the ability to act even when outcomes cannot be predicted. It is a refusal to shrink your life to fit the boundaries of your fears. This form of courage requires self-awareness. You must know your values, your principles, and your purpose. When you know what you stand for, uncertainty loses its power to scare you. This is why samurai warriors meditated, reflected, and prepared relentlessly. They built their inner world so strong that the outer world could not shake them. In today's culture, many people chase confidence the wrong way. They wait for fear to disappear before taking action. But the samurai approach flips this entirely. Courage comes first. Confidence comes later. You act even while afraid. You move even while unsure. You proceed even while imperfect. And through this movement, your fear begins to transform into capability and trust. Acceptance also frees you from the illusion of perfection, a trap that burdens millions of people. Perfectionism is simply fear wearing a mask. Fear of judgment, fear of failure, fear of not being enough. But samurai knew that perfection was unattainable. What mattered was presence, intention, and responsiveness to the moment. When you accept imperfection, you become more adaptable, less anxious, and more prepared for whatever life delivers. In the end, Rule 3 offers a powerful message for anyone seeking strength. Life will never be completely safe or predictable, but you can learn to be steady, brave, and intentional regardless of the uncertainty around you. Samurai courage is not loud. It does not boast. It does not need recognition. It is a quiet flame that keeps burning no matter how strong the wind blows. When you learn to accept uncertainty with dignity and walk through difficulty with calm resolve, you don't just survive life. You transcend it. You rise above fear's illusions. You stand as the samurai stood, grounded, present, unafraid to face whatever comes next. If this message inspired you, tap like and hit subscribe. Stay on the path with us. Sharpen your mind, strengthen your spirit, and keep rising.